All right, so it looks like I am live, and this is fantastic because I have. All right, it looks like, yeah, we are live. All right, going live here. Sweet. Okay, cool. We are live with the coaching group, and this is awesome. So I'm here just for anybody that wants some coaching from our coaching community, and then if you are live in the Facebook group, then like feel free to drop your questions in. The people that are in the coaching community can join this. So these are people that joined up on our coaching community offer that happened this past weekend. So I'm pretty excited for that. Thankful for that. And for those that aren't, then I will go in and just kind of talk through a couple things. And this is really important. So I'm going to talk through this just as of right now. I'm going to talk about SOPs, right? So a lot of people talk and ask about standard operating procedures. They say, "Oh, like how do you either make SOPs or how do you build those out?" Because I'm currently onboarding two acquisition people, and so like my thought right now is like, well, while we're here, why don't I walk you guys through what I'm doing for my onboarding and how we have our onboarding set up and all the things that we do for onboarding. So I would love to walk you guys through that, and then even how do you create like SOPs for scale? Because it's really important to, if we want to scale our company, like if you want to scale what you do, or honestly, if you even just want to add in even if you want to add in like virtual assistants, how do you make sure? Because I work with plenty of virtual assistants, and a lot of times you still run into the issue of having to still like do so much with them, which is great, but and you want to be present and you want to do that, but then ultimately when you want to replicate yourself and essentially buy back your time. Is that the book right there? That's the book right there. It might be that one, or it's that one over there. It's one of those two. I got it. Buy if you want to buy back your time, like Dan Martell talks about, which is a fantastic book, then you want to be able to replicate yourself. And if you want to replicate yourself, you want to make sure that you have systems and processes in place to do so. So as we have those, let me see. Is anybody else on here from the? I'm trying to see. I'm trying to see if anybody else is in here. I don't think so from the coaching community yet. I don't quite know how this works, but no, not yet. Okay. So if you want to buy back your time, how do we do that? So what I always talk about is yo, Ben, what up, Ben? Are you in it? Did you join the link? Did you join the link or are you just on Facebook? Hold up. I got to figure out how this works. You should be able to. Yo, Ben says I'm here. Ben, on the link? There literally should be like a join link. Oh, hold up, man. Give me a quick second, Ben. Let me see if I can find the link that allows you. Guests can stream this to their own destination. Nah. Send the link to your guests. They may also want to share it. Nah, on screen. Yo, Ben, I'm about to send you this because you should be able to just chime right in. This is my first time using this. This isn't like Zoom. Sometimes I'll use Zoom. But I'm gonna send this to you. I'm gonna send this to you in the coaching community, just straight up a little chat to you. Members, Ben, my guy, the man, the myth, the legend. So I just sent you a little chat in the community. So let's see if that's the same link or not. I hope not, because like there should be a straight up way. Yeah, that's a different link. Okay, hopefully you can jump in here with me, man. But and then we can chat, we could chop it up. But ultimately, even just talking through, I think Ben might have a couple of different questions on foreclosures. But even just talking through how, if we're going to create these systems and processes, how do we do it? So one of my favorite ways to create these systems and processes is to this is what you do. Take the really mundane things that you do every single day. Just start writing them down. And I'm not joking. Like this is going to get really monotonous. It's going to get really annoying. Write down the things that you do every single day. And like take a piece of paper, line paper, sent an email to the attorney. Did this, did that, did this, did that. And then what you're going to do is you're going to separate them into two columns. One column's on things that you love, one column's in things that you don't love. Okay. And then you're going to make another try, like, dang, you know what? Dang, you know what sucks? My whiteboard gets in tomorrow. I definitely think I should whiteboard. I'm gonna grab a random piece of paper. So then what you're gonna do is you're going to take almost like a 4 more columns. Sure, you could do them in 4 more columns, or you could do them in actually, you know what? I think I'm gonna try to share my screen here and just make a random spreadsheet. And then we'll just kind of go through this, and this is gonna be cool. So present. Yo, share screen. Yo, for some reason, this thing is so weird. All right. So let's say we dive into this, right? So then you have like things I love, and then things I don't love. Right? And so then we're gonna take all the stuff that we do, and then heck, you can even like take this, you could take this and like you could just start putting stuff right now. So it's like emailed attorney, honestly, checked account statements, called foreclosure attorney, let's see, sent a contract. Okay, and so then you're gonna have all of these things, and then what you're gonna do is you're gonna write out four. Typically, this is drawn in like, and it's drawn, and it's supposed to look like this. It's supposed to look like something like this. So you have like the four corners, right? So you have the four corners, 1, 2, 3, 4. So you have these four corners, and then essentially in those four corners, you're gonna have like a urgent and slash important, and then you're gonna have urgent, not important, and this can actually be on like a T graph. Okay, so like let's chop this up like a T graph. Man, I wish I had this. Urgent, not important, and then you have like not urgent, not urgent, important, and then you have not urgent, not important. Okay, so you've got these four things. So then what you end up doing is taking the list of things. So, and this would actually be on like a T graph that looks like, it actually looks like this. And then you would scale things. Gosh, I wish I could do this. Urgent, important, urgent or not urgent slash important. And this would be not important, urgent, not urgent, not important. So then I'm going to show you guys what this looks like. So, and what I'm doing here is I'm showing like, all right, this is what it looks like. You've got your like T here, right? Urgent and important up here. Not urgent but important, not urgent, not important, not important and urgent. And so then you have tasks, right? So if I'm like email may land, like you emailing somebody may land like right here on the, I don't even know where I put that because it's all backwards. Holy smokes, I can't even see where my dot is. Like let's say it goes like right here. Oh, okay, cool. So this is on like the, hey, it might be urgent, this level high of urgent, but then over here on not important. So it may be an urgent email, but it's not important. So anything, so here's what I do. Anything that doesn't fit in the, let me show you. Anything that doesn't fit in the not in the urgent and important, you can start to delegate. So like I don't love doing some of these things. So like let's say all of these are right here. I want to start with delegating these things I don't love to do if they also align in the like the not urgent, not important, or the urgent but not important, because that means that somebody else could be doing those things, if that makes sense. Those are the things that I want to delegate. Really, the only things that I should be doing are the things that align in the things I love section and the urgent and important section. Everything else I want to start with now building out the processes to hand them off. So start with building out the process of what a template looks like to email the attorney. Start with the processes of sending a contract. Start with the processes of calling the foreclosure attorney, and then start to organize those over here. That's how we want to do that. Ben, oh, yo, Ben, add to the stage. What up, legend?
Hey, how's it going?
Glad you're here, man. Fantastic. We got this thing going now. This is cool. This is cool. So, yeah, so I'm just talking about like outsourcing because like we're onboarding 2 acquisition people today. We have 30, I don't know, 32 people on our team. And so like I have gotten rid of a good amount of those people, not a good amount, but I do want to like lessen our overhead. So I think now we're probably around like, I don't know, 18 to 20 or something like that. Most of them are stateside people. So not even virtual assistants, but we have to walk through like, how are we going to delegate these things? How are we going to make sure we build out the processes and the systems? Because then also, and Ben, you've seen a little bit inside of this on like the coaching community, but like this is what my SOPs look like. So you can actually see here where I actually walked my people through this today. where this during their onboarding, I gave them access to this, and this is their SOPs where they come in and it's like, welcome to the team. And so they can actually see here. Where is it? Oh, come on. Why is it not loading? I added all this stuff in today. So this welcome to the team section where they go, they can actually see. Oh, okay, here we go. Oh, that's why, because I'm in definitely the wrong area. This is what you guys have access to right here. I gotta sign back in to grab it. I'll show you guys my SOPs here. Because then too, Ben, inside of there should be, let me go back. Because inside of there should be the SOP for door knocking. Did you see it?
Yeah, I'm looking through everything. I don't know that I have. That might have been one that I've requested access to. If it was like a Google Sheet, so I don't know if I've looked at that.
Sweet. I'll make sure that I give access. Thank you. So like this is I'm just starting.
Yeah.
Because I'm just starting this thing out. I'm like learning a lot of the stuff that's still like not accessible.
Sure. Yeah.
People are like, hey, I would like access to this, and I'm like, thank you. And they're like, oh, this video's missing, and I'm like, thank you, because I have all of it. It just was so much that I've forgotten what I've uploaded and not uploaded. Because like it's like 100 and something. It's a lot.
It's a ton. Yeah.
It's a whole lot. See, so like this is when we onboard people. Like they come in, they see this, welcome to, and this is like when we go through our onboarding for people, and then like, okay, cool, door knocking foreclosure. So you should have gotten this SOP overview. This is what you should see in here. Oh, bro, yes. Oh, dang, bro, there is so much in here. Yes, these are like regular our side things that I need to give you access to. I actually probably need to create this for you, so you're not getting the ones that are in our work drive. So thank you. I will make sure we do this. Cool. I hope this was helpful. This is how we do our door knocking. Partially because like one, we plan out and we script it, we script the call. And then you said your biggest thing was actually getting access, letting door knocking and having people invite you in.
Yeah, getting inside. I do really well building rapport with sellers and building trust. But this is very different where, most of my leads are PPC. And so I'm calling, getting the appointment, going to the appointment. So they already know who I am. When I'm just showing up from nowhere, door knocking, that's where it's, I can easily talk to them outside. First time I talked to a guy for 45 minutes, and then I wanted to go into the house. He wouldn't let me. It's too dirty. I said, hey, that's not a problem. I'd love to talk to you more. Then we went to Chick-fil-A, was at Chick-fil-A with him for 2.5 hours.
With the guy?
Yeah, him and his wife. And
that man is building the rapport.
Which was great. I learned all about their story still, but I was kind of hamstrung because I can't really talk numbers because I haven't seen their house. So there's kind of a level of, I learned so much about it. It was great discovery, but no real progress. And these sellers are very much, I'm sure you deal with this a lot in foreclosures or pre-foreclosures. They kind of have their head buried in the sand and they just want to stay in their home, but they're really not wanting to confront the reality of their situation.
Yeah. Yeah, you're right.
And that's kind of difficult. So even walking them through, all right, let's help you save your house. Here's what and I don't use the word payoff, but hey, what do you have to go current? What does that look like? And for this couple, it was $45,000. How are you going to get that? Well, I've thought about selling trucks, but I can't sell my truck because of this or that. And so we go through every reason, and me telling them you need to sell your house doesn't make any a difference.
Nope.
They have to come to that realization.
That's right.
And even going through every possible way to help them save their house, the realization is there's only one. Selling your house is the only way. But then it's still, I'm finding I've got to keep touching them because at some point they're going to realize that. And if I'm not the person that is top of mind, then whoever is in front of them is the person that is able to help them.
Yeah, I guess to a certain extent, I feel like with the rapport that you've built, that that becomes less and less of the case. You taking them to
Mhm.
Chick-fil-A and walking them through all that stuff. I think you have a pretty good chance of them coming back to you at the end of the day, which is good. So with that, then, do you feel like, um, because for us, we like completely understand this, and a lot of times it comes down to one, what you said is exactly right. They've got to come up to it with it themselves. We can't come
Yeah.
to that. We got to let them eliminate all the other options when it comes to helping them to keep their home. They have to eliminate those options, and then we just go, okay. Here's one thing that I would suggest, and this is probably the thing that provides like the most clarity, and allows me to come in at like the best time is like I don't know if you've gotten on and actually had a call with their lender. So sometimes we'll jump on, we'll get on with the lender and I'll three-way them. And this like always works for me where I'll jump in and I like explicitly have the lender tell them there is no way. So like I'll get on and I make the lender the bad guy. So it's me and them versus the lender. So then I go, hey, okay. And I'll talk to the lender and I go, okay, so they're behind. How much is it again? Okay, 45,000. Okay.
Mhm.
Now I know I'm not sure if they've tried a it sounds like they've tried a loan modification. Is there even enough time for a loan modification? And then they're like, "Well, typically it takes about 30 to 45 days to process and it looks like their auction is in 2 weeks." So like it's a very slim chance, but they can try to get their application in. This is how it goes every single time. They could
Yeah.
try to get their application in and I'm like and then I go, "Okay, but like it sounds like though what you're saying is if they don't it's within that 30-day, it's within that 45-day window, it's not very likely it actually gets processed. And so, but there is a chance. There is a chance. And then they're like, there's a chance, but it's not very likely. Like, so then they
Yeah.
start going through that. And then that really is what allows me to, when I hang up that phone, I go, gosh, that sucks. Honestly, like these banks are the worst. Like these banks, we've seen a lot of these banks just be really predatory and they just don't give people the opportunity to keep their home. And it's like, it sucks. You guys are really trying. And then be like, have you guys considered honestly like selling the property? Like that's when I have like the really hard conversation with them because
Mhm.
like I didn't tell them. They came to the realization and then the bank is just verifying their realization or their realization. And the bank like I go, all right. So, like, honestly, you're saying if we can't come up with the $45,000 in the next 2 weeks, like, we probably can't. There's no postponing it or like loan modification we can do. And then like that's where they go, yeah, I don't think so. And then I go, shoot, okay. There's nothing you can do. We can't talk to a supervisor. And like I'll try to like push it a little bit more. And they're like, honestly, the supervisor's gonna say the same thing. Like really, this is verbatim, like every single conversation with the lender.
Mhm.
And so I really push on the lender to like crush these people's spirits. So it's not me crushing their spirits, but it's the lender just like giving them this really hard reality of like, guys, unless you can come up with 45K to reinstate this mortgage, it's not gonna happen. So that's kind of like what we do when it comes to people just not getting it, absolutely not getting it about their timeline that they have. Now, if they're more than 45 days out, then I'm like, I just got to wait. They're going to try to do a loan modification. It probably won't even work. They probably won't get their paperwork in time. And then, like, I will wait. But also, like, in that meantime, I'll still continue to push on it. That's kind of the hard thing about foreclosures is people will fight. This is the biggest difference I've noticed because we now do a ton in the big data scene where, like, we pull data, we call, text, mailers, all that stuff. Is like
Mhm.
those people, they say, yeah, I'm ready to sell my house. Foreclosures will fight tooth and nail to keep their house. They will fight tooth and nail to not get out of that house, tooth and nail to not succumb to that foreclosure. And so for us, it's just um the closer it gets to the auction, the better our chances are to get a contract. And so
When you
that's just
ca-
go ahead.
when you call the lender with them, in whether that's in person or just you're on the phone
Three-way.
dialing them
Yep.
in, how do you explain who you are in relation to the sellers?
Oh yeah. Yo, lick, bro. You got this in here. Hold up. You ready? I got this. This is all up in your SOP too, man. Ooh,
I'm sure I'm asking questions that you've explained. I just haven't gotten to
no,
that
no,
in
no.
the course.
I want to show you where it is in here. I'm trying to show this. I'm trying to show you where it is in here because I've got the full like. Okay, this is not on the door knocking part, but which is in our foreclosure SOP. I've got a full process. Where's the foreclosure process map? Okay, it's on. This is actually really cool. I'm going to show you this really quickly, just so you know, Ben, where to find it.
Yeah, I've looked at the process map, and it is
No, did you look at this? There's two process maps. There should be. There's a specific
okay.
foreclosure process map that is like, because they're very different.
Yeah.
Our regular process map and our foreclosure one is very, very. So, let me show you this here, Ben. Just because, like, I just want to show you in here. We're gonna walk through all the talking points, but I just
Yeah.
straight up want to show you where. Yo, where's my live? Okay, there it is. All right. So here's the pre-foreclosure process map right here. So if you have this right here, you can see this is the talking points right here. So if the lender, all right, here we go. Hey, I need to talk to the loss mitigation department. If you're just calling like a random number, and then don't say anything else, and they'll send you over there. And you can say, hey, I'm a transaction coordinator, or you could just say, hey, I'm somebody, I'm helping Matt. You could just say like, I'm helping Matt get through foreclosure. And can I put on the second to borrow the verbal? Oh, okay. Yeah, great. So I will call by myself. I'll do this every time. I'll call by myself first. And the reason why I call by myself is because like I don't want them to have to wait on hold while I reach the right person. So I'll always call on myself and I go, hey, I'm working. I say I'm working with Matt, because they'll say, all right, what's your last four of your social? And I go, hey, I'm working with Matt on the foreclosure. I've got him on hold for a second. Or no, can I put you on hold to give him a call real quick so I can get a verbal authorization? And then they'll go, sure, okay. And then like when I get him on, I go, hey, when we get done with the verbal authorization part, I go, hey, how long is this authorization good for? Because sometimes it's for 24 hours and sometimes it's for like a month and sometimes it's for like a year. Really, it just depends on the lender. So then I don't ever have to call back with Matt again. I always want to know how long my verbal authorization is for. And then I have this conversation. And then I go, okay, great. I can take it from here. And then I say, Matt, would you like to stay online or and hear the conversation? Or would you like me to just kind of handle this? Depending on like what we're actually talking about. If I'm just trying to get more information, I'll let him go. But like, if I want him to hear this conversation, then we'll leave Matt on. And then I go, okay. And then I start talking to them and go, hey, I know Matt is behind. And this is if I'm trying to postpone it. If I got a this is the postponing section. If I've got a contract, Matt can go. And then I'm like, we have a contract, we have a cash offer, we have a proof of funds. Who do I send this to? And I escalate it. But if I'm just on the phone with Matt, this does look a little bit different. But this is what I just ask clarifying questions. How much are they behind? And those kind of things.
Mm-hmm.
Did you have a question? Sorry, I'm like looking at two screens. One of them has a delay. So I see you like do stuff up there and I'm like, wait a second, but that's a delay. So that's the kind of the conversations I have. They're a little bit different. And then like, this is all the information right here that you should need to postpone, right? Like I need a fully executed contract. If I'm doing a sub 2, I get 2 contracts, a cash one and a sub 2 one, because the bank's not going to stop for a sub 2 contract. They're not going to stop an auction. I get a cash one and go, hey, show that the bank is, show that the amount on there that makes the bank whole, show that there's enough money to fill off the mortgage plus attorney fees and then some. And then they want a proof of funds, borrow authorization. And then what I will also get, a bonus statement here is a prelim HUD from your attorney. So an attorney will give me a preliminary HUD that just shows that like, hey, we're in the process of getting this thing closed and help us to postpone it. If you have all of this, you should be able to postpone this within like 24 hours, but you really, really, really got to escalate it to do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
I noticed that you were on Facebook yesterday talking about there's already a sell. It already went into the auction and then you saved it from the auction. You're having to outbid. How does the upset period work in North Carolina?
Because you're in Raleighwood, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. So sorry, finish your question.
How does it work? Where if, let's say a home goes into the auction happens, and I know that the seller has 10 days to save it from being sold from whoever buys it at the auction.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So in North Carolina is one of the, I think there's only 5 states that have what's called like a redemption period. Now redemption period is somewhat of a loose term because I guess I would say more of an upset bid period. Redemption periods are in other states, but an upset bid period is pretty specific to 5 states. That allows the seller, it gives the seller the right after the house has been auctioned to either pay off the loan in full or to sell the property after the auction. So it's like a redemption period. A lot of people will call it the upset bid period because in Florida, there's a redemption period of like 10 days after the auction happens to where like somebody can win the auction, but until the money is but the second that the money is like deposited, transferred, and then I guess the deed has been created and recorded, the seller has the ability to like disrupt that auction. So that's in Florida, but in North Carolina, we have the ability to do the redemption period where okay, sorry, I was just tracking. So when an auction happens, a seller has 10 days to either sell the property or pay it off in full. There's no more reinstating. So if you have a sub 2 and it goes to auction, there's no more reinstating. You like the sub 2 doesn't matter. Don't even care about the sub 2 because the bank essentially has been made whole at the auction. So somebody else has been on it. They've been made whole at the auction. They don't care about a reinstated mortgage at that point because now somebody is taking over that. Somebody's paid for that mortgage. So what ends up happening is then now what I'll do is I'll go on the 10th day and I go and I have to have 5% of the new bid amount. So let's say it is okay, just I guess very, very real numbers here. I'll actually show you the calculator for upset bids. Drive. I'm going to show you what it looked like yesterday. So I'm just gonna like blank out these names here. But if you can see here, Ben, I have so we had 3 properties, 3 different counties yesterday. Gaston, Iredell, Mecklenburg, which is like, golly, that freaking sucks. That's like, bro, that's like Buncombe County, Wake County, and I don't even know where else. Or not Buncombe, sorry, Cumberland County, Wake County, and then like I don't know where else. But they're like 3 just completely different counties. And so then like if you look here, what ends up happening is we're gonna stick over here on this one right here. So you can see like these are our margins. And so for us, it was worth it to upset them. So like sale price, we actually already had buyers for all of these properties. So we needed to upset these bids. So the previous high bid was $140,720.90. We have to come in at a bid that's 5% higher than that one, right? So 5% higher than 140,000 is 147,756. So this is the new bid that we had to place. And then in order to place that bid, you have to come up with 5% of that value. So whatever the new bid is, you have to come with 5% of that as cash. So they don't ask you to pay 100% of it up front, but whatever your bid amount is, you have to place down 5%. So that's kind of how the auctions work. And then when you place down that 5%, you pay that 5% in cash or a cashier's check, then that extends your timeline another 10 days. So then let's say somebody else comes, Ben, we're bidding on the same property. You have to now come at 5% higher than this price.
Okay.
So then like that would be $156,000 or something like that. So you would have to come in at a price 5% higher than this one and then place your 5% down to extend it another 10 days. So that's how they work in North Carolina. And then what ends up happening is I've done this to where like we had a deal and it was a very big deal and we were trying to get it closed, but there was nobody else bidding against me. So I had one of my LLCs bidding against another one of my LLCs for months, bro, like for months. It got to the point where I had $32,000 per LLC bidding against each other. When I got it, when we bought that house, I got back $66,000.
Wow.
So that the county had been holding. So that's just, so what happens is at that point, then all the money that you put into that house then gets refunded back to you when the property is purchased. So whoever purchased the property, even if you didn't purchase it, then like if you lost the bid, or even if you won the bid, you get that money back from the county.
Okay. How does that play into the redemption period? So this is now you're just paying the county directly. You're not actually going to the lender and okay.
This is all at the courthouse.
So the redemption. So what is the redemption period? What does that mean for the seller?
So that just means that we're buying them more time to close on the property. So like the auction happens at the county. So here's actually the hierarchy of it. You've got the lender, right? The lender then pays out. The lender has a trustee, And that trustee typically works at a foreclosure attorney's office. That foreclosure attorney, local attorney, handles the foreclosure at the courthouse. So then the foreclosure attorney then at the courthouse, because it's all through the courthouse, now the auction happens through the courthouse. Because the auction is happening at the courthouse, all of the bids happen through the courthouse, who's working with the attorney who works for the bank.
Okay.
So yeah, sorry. I hope you're tracking with me that a little bit.
The redemption period is, let's say that the seller has on this one, the previous high bid was 140, 720, 90. The seller came in at 147, 756, 95. Then they have now stopped the foreclosure sale and they don't have a foreclosure on their record.
So technically, yes and no. So the seller would have to come in with this plus attorney fees. So like it would be probably like another 10K.
Okay.
Yeah, and like they would have to pay it not through the county, they would have to pay it through the foreclosure attorney. Who, golly, this sucks, man. Trust me, I'm in this right now. We have one house that we've been trying to close on. It's actually this house right here. This one right here. We've been trying to close on this for over a month. We've been waiting for a payoff for over a month.
Wow.
A payoff. Because what happens is the payoff comes from the lender. The lender then gives the payoff to the foreclosure attorney. The foreclosure attorney adds their fees to it. And then our attorney, and then like we pay that amount. So it's not just the 147 that's owed to the bank or whatever the underlying mortgage was. It's the underlying mortgage plus attorney fees. And then like, that's why the payoffs take so long, because like the lender will take 3 to 5 days, 5 to 7 days, they say, to get to populate a payoff. The payoff then goes to the foreclosure attorney. The foreclosure attorney will take 1 to 2 days to add their fees to it, and then you get the payoff. Now, granted, the foreclosure attorney will act much faster if they know that you're trying to close on it and you're on a tight budget or timeline because of the redemption period. But like that's typically what happens, and so it just takes forever.
So, are you pitching to homeowners after once the auction date happens?
Yeah, 100%.
Is that a pitch?
You totally can.
We can sell it.
You totally can, man. Like there's a really interesting niche of, all right, hey, your auction just happened. You have no choice. Like you have to sell your house. You either sell your house or you have a foreclosure on your record. So that is definitely a strategy to use. Hey, baby girl. You gonna go play in it? Okay. So that's definitely a strategy to use, is to like go to people whose auction have already happened and be like, hey, and this is how you do this. Knock on the door. Hey, I was down at the courthouse and I had noticed that your house actually went to auction yesterday. I hate that for you. I would love to help you to be able to keep the equity that you deserve in your home. So like we switch the conversation to like keep the equity you deserve in your home. Honestly, we say we'd love to help you to be able to stay a little bit longer and then keep the equity you deserve in your home. Because at the end of the day, like if you're going to purchase it or you're going to sell it, you have the ability to like negotiate with whoever the new buyer is to be like, hey, 30 days, give them 30 days after, give them like a lease back or something like that. Or you go, I'll keep upsetting this bid until we close, which buys them at minimum 20 days, because like 10 more days after the auction, somebody else might bid on it or you bid on it, and that gives another 10 days. So like you're at least buying them time to know that the sheriff's not going to come and kick all their stuff out of the curb. So then you can be able to go, all right, hey, I want to be able to help you to stay a little bit longer without the stress of the sheriff coming, and help you to keep keep a foreclosure off of your record and help you to keep the equity you deserve in the home.
Is it just left to chance though if someone keeps outbidding you?
It is left to chance. So we go on the 10th day at 4:00 at 4 p.m. Yesterday, I walked in there at 4:40 to place my bid. Actually, I walked in at 4:30 to place my bid by like 4:50. But like, yes, it is. We wait to the last, because like I don't want to put my money up if I don't have to. So I wait to the very last minute, but I fully intend to make sure we can close on the property. So I wait till the very last minute to do it.
And then you said the upset period is 10 days. So someone has 10 days to then outbid you.
Yep. And if it falls on like a Saturday or Sunday, then it's that following Monday.
Okay. Got it.
Yeah. Wild, huh?
Yeah. I was talking to a lawyer, and when you go into a foreclosure, so the Supreme Court passed, I don't know when they passed it, but when it sells at auction, the bank has to give, this is what he told me, that the bank has to give the equity to the homeowner. They don't just lose all of the equity.
Yes. Okay. So great. Sorry, I was thinking about something else. Yeah. So that's called excess proceeds. So the bank legally is only hold on. What? The bank legally can only take what's owed to them. So they can only take what's owed on the principal balance of it. And then anything that's bid above that is called excess proceeds. So now so like when this happens in different states, it's different. In South Carolina, you can actually go, "Hey seller, I saw that your auction happened and that your house sold for this much or whatever." I'm actually going to change the link here. Give me a quick second so other people can join if they can.
Yeah.
Remove link. What just happened here? So I would say, hey, I know that your auction just sold. And unfortunately the bank has, the house sold but it looks like you have the ability to get what's called excess proceeds. Now, what excess proceeds are, is it just means like, because the bank only can take what they're owed, you are, dang man. Sorry, I'm trying to like change this link up just a little bit just in case anybody else wants to join.
Yeah, take your time.
I just say you are allowed to get the difference between the two, and I want to help you to get that. And so in some states, the bank will allow you to do that. In some states, they will actually. Let me just stop real quick. Oh, now there you go. Sure. All right, cool. In some states, they allow you to actually have a contract with a seller that states that you're going to get like 50% of the excess proceeds that you help them recover. But in the state of North Carolina, that's seen as predatory, and you can only take like $1,000 of the excess proceeds that you help them recover, like maximum, or else like you can be reported and fined. So the excess proceeds by law though goes to the seller. Now, what happens to that is it all just goes into a county slush fund. And then they have to go to the courts and they have to appeal to the courts on like, hey, we are the rightful owners. And it essentially goes through like a probate process through the court, where then the court then decides who are the rightful, like how that money is distributed rightfully. So we just talk, and that could take like 4 to 6 months. So I've actually talked to sellers where I'm like, hey, look, I actually have you know what? I have a call. You should listen to this. I have a call from a while ago, and this is honestly before I even knew about upset bid period, which was really sad because it went to foreclosure when we could have made so much money on this house if I would have known the process. But it was like one of our first foreclosures. But I talked this lady out of getting excess proceeds to go with us. She ended up getting them anyways because it went to foreclosure because we didn't know what we were doing back then. But I talked her out of it because I said, hey, you could totally get, because she was banking on it. She's like, or I can get like $80,000 in the excess proceeds, an attorney told me. And I was like, yeah, no, you totally could. The only problem with that is that goes into like a county slush fund, and then the county then decides, and like you have there's other heirs that then goes through, and then ultimately a judge in about 4 to 6 months decides who gets that money and how. And you could totally do that, and you'd make way more money doing that. Or like, we can close on this in the next 2 weeks, and you'd be able to get this amount, and you wouldn't have to go worry about going through that headache. And then like we talked through that a little bit more, and she ended up going with us. And then eventually, because we didn't really know about upset bid periods, it went to auction. She got her excess proceeds. She was going to do that anyways. Some people default to that because they're like, well, it was my father's house. He died. It's not going on my credit, whatever. So some people will default to that, but there is some ways like to be able to get around that. But yes, we talk people out of excess proceeds a lot of times and just going with us because the process just sucks. And then we say the process just isn't fair. That's one of the things we talk about with people with like the bank and their process just isn't fair. And so in this situation too, like you leave all that money that you could get up to chance by letting the courts decide on who gets that money. And we just think that process isn't fair.
And that's before the auction? That's not after?
Nope, that's after.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So how does the upset, you mentioned North Carolina, that you can only make $1,000. If I'm putting the money for them, how do I then rescue How does a foreclosure not get on their record if it's already gone to
No, so that
auction?
case it does. You asked about excess proceeds. With excess proceeds, that means that the house has gone to auction and they will get the difference between what it got auctioned for and the underlying mortgage.
So even if you're doing an upset bid, it's still going to
No. So like if you let's say you upset the bid and you buy the house
Mhm.
in the upset bid period, there are no excess proceeds. The sale is canceled because the underlying mortgage was satisfied by the purchase of the property.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got it.
Sorry if I
So
confused.
at auction, when it goes to auction, that is to someone buys it, gives that
Mhm.
money to the bank, then the bank says there is no foreclosure. They still have a foreclosure on the record.
Sorry. Nope. You're talking about after so like it's still in pre-foreclosure until the
Yes.
final sale, not the auction in North Carolina.
Okay.
So it's not in foreclosure. It doesn't get foreclosed on until the final sale. Till people stop bidding on it. It's just a longer bidding process. In some states, it's called a hammer state. Right? That's what it's called. Like when the hammer gets hit, like the gavel lands, sold on that day. In North Carolina, they decide to say, you can bid for as long as you want. I don't care. So then it's just a longer bidding period.
So how does that not affect the? Can
'Cause
you
the
still
fore-
prevent
'cause
it
the
from being a
foreclosure didn't
foreclosure?
happen. Yep.
Okay.
It never happened.
Even if it's not you, it's another investor trying to bid on it. The foreclosure never happened.
So this is different now. You're talking about in the upset bid period. The foreclosure
Okay.
has not happened yet because a final sale has not taken place. Once a final sale takes place, it is officially been foreclosed on.
What is a final sale? What does that mean?
After the 10-day periods are done. If let's say I didn't go yesterday,
Yeah.
it would have got foreclosed on. But because I went yesterday, it's still in pre-foreclosure, baby.
So that means that you can run title in those 10 days and close on it.
100%.
Okay, I understand. Okay. And then you just get your money back, your 5% back from the county when you purchase the property.
Yep. And sometimes it takes like a month, depending on how big the county is. Sometimes it takes a week.
Okay, wow. Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah,
That's
cool.
crazy.
Yeah, it is crazy, right?
So what happens if you do the upset bid? You're now the highest bidder.
Yep.
You then go run title. You close on it within 7 days. No one has upset your bid. Then
You
it's
closed on
closed. It's done.
You
Yes.
closed on it?
You closed
So
on it
then-
before anyone upset your bid.
You got a payoff and the money was wired to the bank?
Yes.
The house was bought. The sale was canceled.
Okay.
The foreclosure sale was canceled.
How nitty gritty does it get when
If I'm closing on a Friday,
yeah.
and that's day 10, I'm going to upset that bid.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm going to
Got
upset that bid. I'm not taking my chances.
Okay.
Yeah. Now there is time though, but like you got to have that money in by 5 on that Friday. And if you do, I mean, I've cut it that close before and they've accepted it, but like I'm upsetting that bid still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. Crazy, huh?
Yeah, it's a whole new process because all I've been doing is doing distressed properties or properties that someone's going to list, and then I do an ovation or
Nice.
some kind of combination of that. But this is I was hesitant because the process seems so different from in Atlanta, where
Very different. Every Tuesday.
Yeah.
Or the first Tuesday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
And so it's like my brother's there. He's doing $7 million a year, but he's got it dialed in where it's like he has a whole team that just does door knocking. They get a list at the beginning of the month for 2 weeks. They're going crazy, and then the last 2 weeks of the month, his team gets off. Like that's their vacation because they've worked so hard for the first 2 weeks.
Yeah.
And that is not the process here.
No, very different because there's foreclosures every single day in North Carolina.
Mm-hmm.
So you would have to be going crazy every single day. But yeah, no, it's very different in Georgia. It's going to be very interesting because like these states, Georgia, they're coming out with interesting wholesale laws. Things are changing. Kind of wild.
Yeah, I
But
guess
yes,
that's where installment comes into play a little bit.
yeah. There's that. There's that. I'm actually Q1 of next year gonna start up at I'm starting up a lending company. It's gonna be insane. Where like, let's say you get a house, you get it under contract, I will lend 100%, 100% for 90 days. So then you have 90 days to sell it. That allows you to buy the house at the auction, and then throw it on the MLS or sell it to a buyer as the actual owner. So you wouldn't even need the installment method. But that's not until like Q2 of next year. But that's
Yeah, I
gonna
remember
be
you saying
insane.
that at CG at the back in October.
Oh wow, yeah. Okay, so yes, yeah. Yep, I will be at okay, no, I just thought about that because I was like, wait, I'm gonna be at CG next week. But yes, I think I did talk about that back there. Yo, Sterling, why aren't you in here, bro? Sterling, get your butt in here, man. Why are you not in here? I put the link in the community. You in the Facebook group. Let me send you this. Let me send you this link if you're trying to get up in here. Although we probably are about to bounce soon. 15 minutes, whatever. So but yeah. So that's gonna be crazy because then like you don't have to do installments, but like installments, we do a lot of installments. Now, it gets a little crazy though. Like if you do an installment during foreclosures, that's a little tougher because like we got to run title has to clear. Now we have equitable ownership, then we can market it on the MLS. It just takes so much longer. So and then we have to pay for 2 closings. So there is like, I love the installment. We use it a ton, but like not on tight foreclosure situations.
Who are you getting to do your title? Knowing that on some of these foreclosures, it's got to be a super tight turnaround. Do you use someone local, or is there just one person in North Carolina you guys use for any foreclosure?
Yeah. And oh, yo, found you on recommendations. Oh, nice. Resellers Network. What up, homie? Found you on. What up, my guy? Good to see you, man. I hope. I don't know what recommendations they were on, but I'm glad it recommended us. I would say. So for us, we just like 24-hour title. They're so fast. They're so good with stuff like that. Now they're not technically 24 hours, but they are the fastest, and they do help out the most and handle our foreclosure situations the best. So I can connect you with a good person. They're statewide. They absolutely crush it for us. So I mean, like all the way out in Vietnam and then here in Charlotte. So I can definitely recommend send you a connection there if you have not used 24-hour title yet.
Yeah, I haven't yet, but I've heard about them, but I haven't used them yet.
Oh, listen, I'm sure you've heard about them. They are very investor friendly. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard about them. So we like using them because like in those situations, they're great. In like creative finance, fantastic. They're very good. They help extremely investor friendly. So that just is all very helpful for us.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
When you're building, I don't want to capitalize all your time if other people.
Nobody else is in here, bro.
When you're building your SOPs, I know you at CG you mentioned use a lot of AI to help build stuff out. How do you? And you have so much stuff on this entire course, the REI Legacy. How much are you using AI to help you create SOPs or just workflows and content?
Yeah. So I use AI for a lot of that stuff. So I would say like when it comes to so ScribeHow and Loom are my main SOP builders.
Okay.
So ScribeHow and Loom are those main ones. So yeah, ScribeHow and Loom. So those are the main ones that we use that we dive into for that. And yeah, so those are really good. They help me a ton.
Nice. Do you, on looking at your SOP for pre-foreclosures, I've been super scared of, and people on YouTube or other people say it's fine with cold calling specifically. When you're calling these pre-foreclosures, how are you worried about getting in trouble with them reporting you or getting a lawsuit because you've contacted them and they haven't opted in, or how do you navigate that?
So like I guess until the calling, so we don't really text. We don't text at scale for foreclosures. So like that doesn't affect us a lot. But then we don't when it calls, we just don't mention our name. And that's been kind of helpful. I haven't run into anything yet. I do know that there's
Okay.
like TCP stuff like that. And once it gets really bad for calling, we'll probably slow it down with the calling side. But I have very like personal, we're not doing anything like at a large scale that I think would get us in trouble because we're
Mhm.
also technically not soliciting them to sell a product. Because like this is the biggest argument for it that I've seen is because we're asking to buy something from them, we're technically not trying to sell anything, which is why we don't get in trouble in that way. So there's a lot of stuff that's given. Like I read a lot about that.
Yeah, I've heard that too. But I've also
That's
I
right.
know people that have gotten
Still
sued,
got in them.
and
Yep.
it
100%.
still got them. For like every time too. So it's like they call that person. You call the wrong person. You call them whatever. Then
Yep.
it's just like.
But they have to
5
already be
times.
on the do not. They have to already be on the do not call list. So like a lot of people just talk about like make sure that you're scraping heavy on the DNC list. Now
Okay.
I probably should.
Which is most people are on the DNC list, so it's even hard. That
Yeah.
I found it's kind of like who else is not. It's hard to find people that are not on that list.
Yeah, I wish I knew a lot more about that part of it, as I do.
Sure, that's okay. No worries.
Cool. No, great questions, man. Great questions. Sorry, I just had something like super like pressing come up. But no, man, this has been good. This has been fantastic. I hope this has been helpful for you, Ben.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for hopping on here. Is this going to be at the same time every week?
Yeah, this is like a hard one. Is it what are you in? What CG are you in?
I'm in Elevate, which is at the exact same time.
Dang, at the same time.
Yeah.
Let me try to figure out. We may move it around.
Okay.
Yeah, okay, you are in Elevate. Dang, yep. That's the tough one. Okay. Because all the other ones are at 1. Elevate's at 3. Dang. Cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay. Let me try to see. Maybe we'll do Monday. Mondays are so hard for me, man.
That's okay. I'm not asking you to change your schedule.
No, it's so
if
new.
I can hop on, I can hop on.
It's so new. Nobody else is here. Like just you. So if I need to, then we can like maybe do a poll in the group to see which days or nights work better. And I'm happy.
Cool. Yeah. Awesome.
Sweet.
Thanks so much for your time. I appreciate it.
Bro, I appreciate you and your time. Thank you for being here, man. Let's continue to knock this out, man. I hope this is helpful for the first call. Let's go.
Yeah, definitely.
Cool. All right, man.
Cool.
I appreciate you.
All right. See ya.
See ya. All right, everybody else that was on here, thank you so much for being here. We dove into some foreclosure stuff. We talked a little bit about SOPs, processes, building out those systems, and then foreclosures. I appreciate you all for being here. Let's continue to knock it out. Let's freaking go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Have a fantastic day. Oh, I'm still here. I'm still here. Anyways, if you aren't, make sure you guys join the community. You get to be in these calls instead of in the comments. I would love to have you in these calls with me. That would be fantastic. Oh, that's what's happening. I got to click this other button here, but it goes away. I'd love to have you guys in these calls with me. That would be awesome. If you need to, you could go to reilegacy.com/wholesale, I think. And then you can check it out or just DM me and I'd love to send you a link. I'd love to be able to give you a ton of value and give you access to all the stuff that Ben and I talked about today. You are awesome. I hope you have a fantastic day. I appreciate you. Peace.